Potbelly, everything you find is a little bit happier, sweeter, fresher, groovier, and yummier. Why? Because at Potbelly, we know it's never enough to just eat lunch. You gotta feed your smile. Swing by for our new turkey club, handcrafted to make you smile.
Welcome into Living the Crease with I'm Sam Harding alongside me, Coach Demarest and Sutton Scoggins. And we're here at Potbelly's restaurant on 9662 Chapel Hill Road. And they have warm and toasty sandwiches, and they have catering for all locations in the area. And Coach, how are we looking to improve on last season going forward?
Yeah, we had a tough one last year. We had couple injuries. We really ratcheted up the schedule to a top 10 strength of schedule in the country, actually. 5 top 20 teams. Tough. We lost our entire first line of midfielders to injury. You know, it's just kind of everything didn't roll our way. A lot of 1 and 2 goal game losses. So have dialed it back a little bit. We're a young team. We've got about 80% of our team are freshmen and sophomores. But yeah, a lot of promise. Move some guys around to different positions, so we're excited. It's gonna be a great year.
And Sutton, you're going into your junior year. How are you looking to improve from your prior 2 years?
I'm looking to improve just by stepping up as a leader, because obviously we had 16 seniors graduate last year, which is in any level of the sport, it's a huge deal. And so I'm looking to step up along with the rest of the seniors and the upperclassmen, and we're just hoping to.
And Coach, besides Scoggs here, who else is going to go and fill that leadership role?
Yeah, we graduated our entire defense. Our goalie has actually transitioned out of goalie and became a midfielder, which is new. We have a freshman who's going to be battling out with our returner, Adam Wagner, for the starting goalie spot. We do have quite a few new new freshmen defenders, and actually some new attack coming in. We have a grad student, Reef Ivy, 35 years old, came back after his service, and is actually going to grad school at NC State, has 2 years of eligibility left. He played at UPenn, D1, so he's going to come in and fill a hole for us. But we have a brand new offensive coordinator. We ripped up the playbook and are starting over. So again, I think it's going to be just a brand new team, something that we're really excited about.
So you're talking about the 35-year-old player. How is that going to go into you coaching someone that's closer to your age than most of the players?
He is closer. He's older than both of his assistant coaches, but he's a great leader. Again, I think he did 8 years in the Army. So he's got some great leadership abilities. He's a hard work guy. We love you, Reef. But yeah, we're really looking forward to having him on the field, and just his presence at practice, really showing up. And you know, a 19, 20-year-old kid making excuses, and he's got every excuse in the world to make, and he doesn't make one of them. So yeah, we're excited.
You talked about new offensive coordinator. Isn't it Cam Wood, who's a mid at UNC? Can you go ahead and just tell me a little bit about him and what he'll bring to the team?
Sure. Kim actually graduated from a high school in New Jersey that he used to coach against in Chatham. Was an All-American there. Was a captain at UNC. Graduated, I believe, in 14. Has been a coach in the area for a number of years and works locally. So really just kind of really plays to the strength of the players. We've designed the offense around what we've got. We're not forcing a system onto players. We've got dodgers, or we have feeders, or and we're building around that. So guys have really bought in. You can just see it in the efficacy and the scrimmages we had in the fall, and really just the level of skill. Even the guys who weren't necessarily contributing a ton are now fully engaged. Everybody's firing. Again, we're a little short on numbers on the offensive side of the ball, but the guys that are there are really working hard and doing well.
So Skoggs, you got a new goalie behind you with Parker now moving out and going to the midi role. What's that do for you in that defense?
Well, obviously it's a little bit of a change because we used to call him the dime god because wherever you were on the field, he'd hit it to you without any chance of missing him. But no, I actually live with him, Adam Wagner. He's a reliable guy in every sense of the word. He's obviously he has a lot of big shoes to fill in from Parker, but
Jordan Adam has progressed as a player, exponentially from his freshman year. Really, you can tell the hard work over the summer. He's really been ready to step into the role. Played for the team summer ball team as the starting goalie the entire time as Parker transitioned to midfield, and has really stepped up for it. I also like, our freshmen. We've got a transfer coming in the spring from Division II. There's all kinds of question marks at goalie. It's not a question mark of talent. It's just who's going to be the guy. Yep.
So, looking back now, obviously we want to try to forget a little bit about last season. But how do you want to improve going forward from last year using that?
I think the biggest one for us is really just offensive efficiency is going to be key. Our goals per game was way down compared to what we've been historically. A lot of that was because who we're playing. 5 top 20 teams. Our division used to be a lot more wide open. South Carolina worked up to number 3 in the country, so all of a sudden they're contenders, and so we didn't always have to deal with them and Clemson and a better ECU team and Elon, and I would say top to bottom we probably have the best depth of division in our conference. There certainly are brighter spots in some of the individual teams, but like I said, every game's a game. Guys beat South Carolina, comes into Clemson, beats them up one year. Clemson comes back for revenge the next year. Same deal. We've gone round robin. We won the division in 16. Clemson won in 17. South Carolina won in 18. It's just not the case in the rest of the conference. Georgia Tech has cleaned up their division year after year after year. Virginia Tech and Liberty are really the only 2 teams that fight for it in the other. So our division has a lot more parity. But it makes it tougher to pencil in wins and losses for sure.
So I was looking at it earlier in the preseason poll, which if you want to put any weight in it, you guys come in 4th in the Northeastern Division. How are you looking? Like, does that carry any weight to you or to you as a player, Skoggs?
I don't like carrying weight of because obviously they're not with us, and I'm just kind of a blockhead kid from North Carolina. I think we're the best team every time we go step it on the field, but obviously realistically we have to think about who we're going up against. But I personally do not hold any weight with that because like Coach said, every game is a game. You can't really pencil in anything before the game happens. You have to play the game to get the results.
And those are done in October, so you get a lot of what you did last spring. So, for us, we got what we deserved, but nobody's seen us show up on, when we had 2 years ago, we were ranked in the top 25. We got not monster numbers the following year, kind of thing, but we didn't perform to that following year. So it's kind of a lag effect. I like to think we're better than 4th. I absolutely think South Carolina is returning what they're returning. Giving them the number 1 spot, I think is fair. Putting Clemson ahead of us, I'm not sure about anybody else. But after that, but that's why we play the games, right?
Yeah. So for a club team, as a coach, what is the recruiting process like for the club team?
Yeah, it's tough recruiting in the conventional sense of the word. What I used to do when I was coaching NCAA. It's different. You don't reach out to kids their sophomore years of high school because it's a combination of things. One, NC State's acceptance rate is a lot lower. You get kids who are blanket. The recruiting with the digital age has become a lot more intense. Kids can send out 17 emails in an instant and say, "Hey, coach, I'm excited to come to your school." And they come in and it's like, well, I have a 2.2 and a 750 SAT. And I'm like, I'm not sure NC State's for you. We should look at some other things. And having those conversations is actually half of our recruiting. Say, listen, here's the first year facts. You know, kids come in with a 4.5 weighted average and a 1,300 on their SAT, and that's the average kid. So trying to come in and say, hey, you know, you've got to get in here first. That's actually the bigger battle. Once the kids have gotten in, then it's saying, listen, there's always other options. They can always go. I would say our biggest challenge is internally at state, and that's I'm competing with fraternity pledging. I'm fighting with honors fraternities. I'm fighting with other club sports because we got a lot of 2 and 3 club athletes. You know that, and you know you always want to say, but the other option is I could always just go take a nap, or I could always go, you know. And some kids get to college and are so fried after playing on every club team and every travel team, and they're just fried. You know, we've got some All-Americans from high school on campus who aren't playing because they're burnt. They're burnt out. Coach, I need a year. Give me a year off. You know, and they come back, but some don't, and that's, you know, they'd rather just kind of be the kid at the 35,000 person school and go to the football games and just blend in because they're tired of being the jock or the stud athlete or the stud. They just want to be Joe Average, and that's fine. So.
And Skaggs, what did this process go like for you? Did you know you wanted to play club lacrosse?
His brother played here, so he had to play.
Yeah, no, I just always want to play just because I just love the sport. I love the school. I figured why not play for both, but yeah, no, it was just hard just because I just wasn't the best kid. I didn't really have that much confidence, but I mean, I just had to go. I just trust the process and just keep going with it.
So we talked a little about the new offense, but is the team going to be more of a run and gun or more control on the offensive side?
So the rules changed has really, the shot clock rules have changed. So all of a sudden now you don't have to be a run and gun, but you can't be a hold the ball, slow the game down. So there's an 80-second shot clock, 20 to clear, 60 to shoot, and then an 80 reset. So what happens is, just for everybody, so you get 20 seconds to get the ball over midfield, and then once you're over there, you can't go back on the defensive half. You have a total of 80 seconds from when you started with the ball to get a shot. And it used to be just a shot on cage, but it's not a shot on cage anymore. It's got to hit the goalie. It's got to hit the physical goal. So good players shoot on goal about 50 to 60% of the time. So if I get a shot off, I didn't reset the shot clock because I missed wide left or I missed wide right. I've got to ping the crossbar. I've got to hit the goal in the head. I've got to, whatever, and have it not make it exactly, or put it back in the net, right? So what we're really looking for is how do I get that good look and still have enough time to get one more good look while I still get that shot on cage. So we've actually been running extra hard with it in the fall to be ready in the spring. And I'll be honest with you, it's faster. It is definitely faster. I think you'll see scoring go up. I know everybody's not a huge fan of it, coach-wise. Used to be able to take the 25-person, 20-person lacrosse team and go beat that 50-person team by slowing the ball down. 3.5-minute possessions, and you just can't do it anymore. So it does favor the bigger schools and the stronger. And listen, and the size of our team, it helps us out. So when we play some of the smaller guys, they have to run and gun. So.
And so, what are some of the ways that the team as a whole just gives back to the community and helps out in the Raleigh area?
You start with that one.
So this year for our philanthropy game, we didn't really go for more local. Obviously it was right after Hurricane Florence and Michael, and we wanted to help out. We donated to the charity foundation, and it helped out. We try to help out, get as many donations, help out as many people as possible down the coast. We have a bunch of players who actually live down by the coast. Like their homes were directly affected, and that's what we try to usually help out with.
Yeah. So we went with the North Carolina Community Foundation, and directly benefits is the money stays in North Carolina, and we get to say we wanted to go to Wake County, or we wanted to go to specific counties if we wanted to. We gave it to the General Hurricane Relief Fund, but we have Will, our freshman, 2 doors down from his house, the house is gone. Jason's from Emerald Isle. His houses are just gone. So that's the one thing we really wanted to say. Try to keep it as local as possible. I mean, you can give to giant causes, but it's 82% of incoming freshmen in NC State have to be from North Carolina. So 80 80% of our team is from North Carolina, so we said let's keep the money local, and we try to try to do that. We've also do some volunteer clinics, Southern Pines. We're holding a U.S. Lacrosse coaches clinic here in January. We've been working on doing some different clinics for teams in the area. I just had a conversation with a nice young lady earlier here before about doing some charity work in Southeast Raleigh. So we have manpower. We like to get out there into the community. Hopefully it's lacrosse related. It's what we're good at. But we'll bag food at the at the food pantry, whatever needs to be done. But yeah, these guys, it's a lot bigger than just smacking into each other 3 days a week.
So what are some of the challenges that club lacrosse athletes will face that most people don't know about?
So there are ones that are pretty obvious, such as school direct, because our goalie, he really wanted to make it out, or Adam, he really wanted to make it out here tonight, but he can't because we have a bunch of engineering students and they have 10 hours of homework every other night. So that's the more obvious one. I think another one is just kind of dealing with life. Obviously, even though we're club athletes, life still affects us. I didn't really have, sorry, I didn't have to miss much practice about it, but my entire family just decided to just move in the same 3-week time span. So that was a little hectic for me, and that's just my personal experience. But obviously, just
I'd say it's pretty common. The excuses for missing practice are not I slept through it or this and it's I've got 2 Wednesdays during the semester. There's a mass physics test in every level, and I don't know whoever figured that one out. But I'd say 60% of my guys are engineers or science in some way, shape, or form. So it's just those practices are decimated. They still try to be college students and go to the Thursday night football games and do all the big stuff there. So I mean, we try to accommodate as much as possible. But I'll tell you, the biggest one I see is really just I'm doing something awesome in my academic studies. I had one of my seniors from last year just came out and was like, I'm really sorry I have to miss practice. I was just accepted to a full ride MD PhD program. And I have to go meet with my professors. I'm sorry, I'm going to miss my first practice in 3 years. And he was apologizing. I was like, oh my God, it's so much bigger than sports. And he flew back just for our alumni game 2 weeks ago. And Zach, if you're watching, we love you. But that's the kind of stuff. We've had guys graduate valedictorian or biomedical engineering classes. Guys drive down special to games because part of their physics project was to shoot a rocket 4 miles into the air and based on that grade, and then drove down that same day to come to the game. So the dedication level is enormous. I mean, one of the nice things when I played was school sponsored, and you get time off and you get to miss class for this and that. They don't get any of that. So it's really I would say the pure student athlete is the guy or girl who does club sports, because your teacher doesn't care that you have a club sports game, but these guys don't. We don't look at it that way at all. We're the NC State lacrosse team, and we're gonna do everything we can to, make that happen.
So, Coach, what are the duties of a club lacrosse coach like, going to your personal view now?
It's kind of everybody I used to work with in athletics rolled into one. So I get to be the quasi-equipment manager. I had to actually move 12 helmets out of his seat in my car to get him on the way here because I got delivered to my office today. When the kids don't know how to write a check because we have to pay officials, and the treasurer comes up to you and goes, I have Venmo, how do you do this? And you're like, I know, old stuff. Making sure that we have buses, making sure that we're just checking on guys, and they do it all, but it's a little check like, did you book hotel rooms for the night before? Because we're gonna, oh no, I forgot, and then we'll show up and we won't have hotel rooms. So it's just little stuff, that makes a big difference. But they do a ton of work. Our president and vice president, Chris and Adam both, they do a ton of work with this. They hear from me every day. It seems like every day, at least some little, like, hey, do we get this field reservation moved? Do we get this and that? And the club sports has been great. They take care of us as far as trainers and making sure we have space, and I mean, we've had some emergency stuff at the field, and they're there, and they've been really supportive. So it is definitely a little bit. I don't walk into my field and my whatever. It's a shared community space, but it's good. It's good.
So there has been a lot of growth in lacrosse recently with teams like Utah, Michigan, and Marquette. What about NC State getting a revival?
What about NC State? Yeah, little different. So the last 5 NCAA teams have popped out of our MCLA division. So we're, I would say, an NCAA alternative type of league. You are allowed a scholarship in our league. We don't. Some schools, have the ability to do that. NAIA schools. We had a team until '82, and Title IX came through, and Title IX is about equality in spending and things like that, and the lacrosse didn't make the cut. It was an oddball sport in 1982 in North Carolina. It's still a little bit of an oddball sport in North Carolina. It would have been cut if it was Baltimore, but it is what it is. I would say once the demand is here as far as grow the sport, they're clamoring for it. I'm running 55, 60 guys out there, and I'm sure that will help. But I'll tell you right now, it's the North Carolina big powerhouses in the triangle, your Dukes and your Chapel Hills. There's maybe half a dozen kids who are actually from North Carolina. Everybody else is from Long Island, Baltimore, upstate, who knows where. You're actually seeing more kids from North Carolina go to, they're going to your Mercers, because the Utah coach was actually the UNC goalie coach. So he knows, hey, the kids from Gibbons, the kids from Waxhaw, the kids are good. We can take them out here, and no knock on it. They're not a first tier team yet. They're brand new, right? They can go pull the Mercers, but they can pull those kids, and they're playing those levels. If a college coach takes a chance on a North Carolina kid, he should have known.
Yeah.
But if he takes a kid from Boyce Latin, Georgetown Prep, Louis Bakerfield, that's the pedigree programs. You're supposed to take them there. No knock on it. I've had stud kids come from nowhere, North Carolina, and be 4-year starters for us. And kids come out of the pedigree schools and kind of flop. But it's a little bit, I think for us, I think you're going to either alumni, if you're listening, it's probably gonna take about $1 million. And then, for everybody else, I think it's just gonna really be a natural progression of the sport. The ACC needs a 6th team for an auto bid to the NCAAs. We don't have one right now, the ACC. So there might be a little pressure there. We're a non-revenue sport. So if it was football or basketball, there might be some demand for it, but I think we're gonna have to wait on that one.
So heading back to this team and looking towards the future, who are some players set for a breakout year?
Well, we've got guys moved all over the place. Actually, our starting launch committee for us last year, we moved into attack. Doesn't really make, just he's an athlete. Jake Walls just has a nose for the game, tough kid, can take a punch, kind of thing. Willing to go into the goal and take the hit, which is a big for us. That's always been one of our strengths. I think we always had a kid who can go to goal, and he's just a great athlete. We've got some new guys. I really like Elliot on the LSM. He's not as tall as Sutton here, but he's sneaky. He does the little sneaky things that LSMs are good at. And I think having Evan on attack, I think those are really the big new shows. We've got a lot of guys. Since we graduated 6 defenders last year, a lot of the guys who will be playing this year were on the team, and just are really going to be backfilling into those roles. So they've been part of the program. Drew Blasbow is probably going to be the breakout freshman on defense. Has shown really good stuff in the fall, and we'll have a new goalie. So whoever that is, will probably be highlighted a lot, good or bad. So.
How are things looking at the face-off X this year? I know Will was your starter last year, freshman. How has he improved? And do you have anyone else that can go if he goes down?
We actually have a starting face-off from the North Carolina semifinals. Is coming in as a spring and mid, really to compete with Will. Will's technique is fantastic. He wins clamp a lot. What we're working on right now is what do we do after that? Because guys start hitting him, and then we need to really kind of work on getting the ball out of his hands, getting the ball to somebody else, have him be part of the offense, and really push on transition. After that, I know Connor has taken quite a number of faceoffs, been taking a lot of our 2 draws. I don't think he loves it. He's really taken one of the team. He's a big, strong guy, and it suited him. But the kids are really fast on technique. His job is to hit them, and that's his move right now. But if it's a power move, he took almost every faceoff we had at App State. It was power versus power, and Connor's just a bigger guy, and just kept hitting them and raking them out. And I think he went 13 for 14 that day, so it was great. Yeah. But when we started doing some finesse moves, this and that, maybe not his wheelhouse, and he knows it. Yeah. But he's working hard on it, and I'll tell you, the specialty positions in lacrosse are some of the hardest to pick up, and the success he's had just in the year that he's done it, I think it speaks volume to his work ethic and how much of a tough kid he is.
So, Coach, what are some games, and Scott, what are some games that we need to circle on the calendar as fans this year? What are the big rivalry games that we need to come out to?
I mean, for me specifically, as a gigantic football fan, Clemson, it's just it's just been like a fun, like every time I've faced Clemson, that it's never been any bad blood. It's just been a good lacrosse game all around. I mean, I'm really excited for South Carolina because last year we had a fantastic game against them, and pretty much all of our divisional games, I'm just really looking forward to. If you're asking me, I'm excited about every game. But
yeah, I think the divisionals are big ones we can circle. We're playing a lot of new teams. I have never played LSU in the time I've been here, so we're playing them. Vanderbilt's another one. We haven't played them in 8 or 9 years. We put back on the schedule that we haven't seen in a while West Virginia. We're going back to Athens, Georgia. University of Central Florida's coming up this year. I think for spring break, which is to come up from Orlando to 40-degree weather, I think is it's very brave of them. But we're gonna repay it back and go down to warm weather next year. So.
And so, Coach, we'll wrap it up with probably the easiest question we have. How do we make it back to Atlanta?
How do we make it back to Atlanta? Well, we only have 4 games that count in our schedule. I know that's weird to hear, but it's your conference record, or your division record, your division record, your division record. We got to win 3. That's it. We've got to win 3. I think we have a great shot against Elon and ECU, and the tougher 2 obviously are going to be South Carolina and Clemson. And we really have to find a way to either at the face-off X, playing tight on defense, picking up the easy transition goals, whatever it is, to really go through and pick off one of those. I like South Carolina's coming to us. They don't always travel the best. It's frat season when they come up, so we might have a chance, a little bit better chance of them at home. And we go down to Clemson in March, so we will see. So we're excited about both of those.
Well, Skoggs, Coach, I'd like to thank you guys for being first ever participants on Clearing the Crease. I've been Sam Harding, and I'd like to thank Potbellies for sponsoring this and letting us come out. And we hope to see you next time.
At Potbelly, everything you find is a little bit happier, sweeter, fresher, groovier, and yummier. Why? Because at Potbelly, we know it's never enough to just eat lunch. You gotta feed your smile. Swing by for our new turkey club, handcrafted to make you smile.